Our system of justice is predicated on punishment in the sense that it's designed to make you look and feel guilty. And of course, it helps if you actually are. What these various protocols I'm practicing do is absolutely useless for the mind. But they're great for the body. You know, keep somebody alive so they can suffer the mental torture of somebody else's guilt, take it upon their own shoulders. But that's what, it's truly a miracle, a tremendous miracle of what I've stumbled across, all because of my good fortune and the neediness, whatever that may be, apparently argyria, of Faith Ahura, to make a discovery I was not expecting to make, because my intellect kept telling me, no, it's not electrically sound. Come on. Well, if you're a machine, but I'm not a machine. I'm a human nervous system, which people say are machines, but do we understand organic devices made by God? Do we really understand them? We only vaguely, not even barely, we vaguely understand our own machines that we construct. And somebody like John Bedini or Eric Dollard understands them just a teeny bit more. But Eric is the first one to admit that nobody understands electricity. Yet the whole topic of this discussion is the electrochemical aspect of designing or helping, assisting with the use of various assistants, the physiology to be in a better state of health. Yet here I am using normal logic, or had been using normal presumptuous premises to the functioning of the physiology that are erroneous, strictly erroneous. I had a teacher of transcendental meditation quote Maharishi warning me, do not ever pass current through the body. And there I was doing the very thing and finding it very beneficial. Eventually, though, I got tired of it. So I guess there was a cost, or else I would have kept it up. And this is the breakthrough, that current is the problem. Never in my wildest dream would I presume to think that I could figure out how to make both myself and this person, this teacher, happy, with a happy medium, a happy middle ground between the extreme of do not pass current through the body and the opposite extreme, pass something through the body, or pass nothing through the body. That's just it. Am I really passing anything through the body now? I don't know. Apparently not. Apparently not. I am apparently fulfilling Tom Bearden's admonition, do not kill the dipole, by allowing current to run through your application and thus kill your dipole, kill the voltage difference between the two poles, the polar opposite positions in which you connect your circuit to the application. Namely, in this case, the application is the body. So here I am laying on my earthing bedsheet, and I went through a tremendous torment last night. It really reached an epitome, and it wasn't just during the night's sleep. It started, I think in the late afternoon, early evening, and it went until this morning. It was unrelenting energy. It was just tremendous energy I didn't know what to do with. I truly was beside myself, and my mind was racked, as it is, with guilt, and that didn't help. The contrast was tremendous, enormous. And I laid there in bed wondering, okay, now what do I do now? And, you know, it's great when you're actually are guilty, but when, you know, they take your son and they want you to feel and look to everybody else, oh, he's guilty. He's guilty. What if you're not? Well, then, you know, it doesn't feel too good. But my body was in great shape, and so it helped me feel even worse, because I had nothing wrong with the body to get in the way. Pretty tormenting. And it was all because I was heating my room with a heater to keep it toasty warm so that I could sleep naked without any covers, bed covers, on my body. And so I had maximum 50% contact between my body, one side of my body, my naked body, the skin, and the earthing bedsheet, which had all of the remaining 200 picoamps going through it and none of it going through me. And the only thing going through me was the same thing going through the bedsheet. It wasn't even going through. It was simply the disposition, or the position. Yeah, disposition? I don't know. Not dispossess, no. The counterposition. The counterpositioning of two dipoles along a diagonal of my bedsheet. Positive at one diagonal and negative at the other, where the contact was being made by the two silver contacts of my sleep circuit. 6.6 gigaohms of resistance and a AA 1.5 or 1.6 volt battery, whatever it's actually at. Usually they're a little higher than 1.5, 1.6 usually, on average. But, you know, it might be spent a little, I don't know. I don't have the right meter to measure it, so. And I don't have the money to spend on the right meters, so I'm trying to be economical with my limited funds at the moment. So, the result I'm getting is tremendous, and it's unbelievable, but I've had to turn off my heater and have a totally non-heated bedroom if I am to exist with this stuff, which means I end up putting clothes back on, and then the only contact points I have with the earthing bedsheet is my face, my hands, and my feet, which obviously reduces, presumably reduces the impact the special use of this circuit now, this new development, has upon my body. Keeps it barely minimum, while at the same time maximizes my ability to cope with it, because I have cold air to breathe now and to surround the body rather than warm air. And you know how it is. A lot of yogis prefer to go up into the Himalayas, the icy Himalayas, to practice their yoga and stay out of the hot, humid lowlands down at anywhere else in the Indian subcontinent or continent of East India. Well, so a lot can be said for this breakthrough. This is tremendous. To actually reduce to just about absolute zero the quantity of current going through the body, yet still have 1.5 of voltage difference between the two contact points. And in my case, spread out on the two diagonals of a king-size earthing bed. Yeah, it's. I don't think they make them anymore. I think they stopped making earthing beds because they were expensive and nobody was buying them, except my friend and his wife. And I got the consequence of their divorce. I bought the bed from him to help him, give him some money so he could have some money to survive as another one of my TM teacher friends. You know, they're not paid a whole lot of money. They barely survive. And TM's not exactly popular these days, which makes no difference. I mean, in my day, the price was so cheap, they didn't make much money back then either. They just were very, very busy, non-stop initiations every day. Very smoke-filled, incense-filled TM center. Those were the heydays. But still, either they don't make much money. So I bought the bed from him, and it was not cheap, but it was a bit slightly discounted from the brand new state. And it's quite interesting. It's got a nice headboard, simple footboard, and it's king size. And the mattress is superb. It's a double mattress, where you've got the very soft foam on the top and the very firm foam underneath it. It's a very good quality foam mattress. And then the mattress is covered with an earthing cover, laced silver wire on the top, not on its sides or bottom, but on its top surface. So you could sleep on it without any sheets, any fitted bottom sheet. I don't know why they do that, or did that. In theory, I should have a mattress cover, but I'd hate to lose that extra silver spread, because even if you don't make contact with a silver wire mesh, or silver wire laced in an earthing apparatus, you still are lying in close proximity to it, which makes it a loose coupling in dynamic terminology, as opposed to a strong coupling when you're making direct contact with a circuit. But a loose coupling is like an antenna, a transmitting antenna and a receiving antenna, and the airspace between them, or ground space too, because they usually are grounded aerials, which indicates that, well, actually it's a strong coupling through the earth, but it's a loose coupling through the air, let's put it that way. So your car radio, insulated from the road by 4 rubber tires, is only getting the signal from the, let's say, AM radio station through the air, and that's a loose coupling between your car's radio antenna and the AM radio station's antenna. Because it creates a field. You've got an magnetic field, electrostatic field, and your body is immersed in it, or at least part of it is, maybe a little portion of it is, because they're close together, even though maybe the wires on the silver wires on your sheet are full of gunk, and that creates insulation, and so you don't make a strong coupling, you just make a loose coupling. So you make something, although it's strong is better than loose, obviously. So I guess there's not much I can do about it. It's the I don't have the athletic opportunity, because the ideal would be to walk a lot and swimming in particular, but there's no pools around here that I can use. Everybody's pools are not heated in this area, and it's impossible to swim without getting tremendous foot cramps. I give myself foot cramps because their water is not heated year-round, and wow. It's pretty hard to swim in those pools. I mean, I could get used to it, but I've tried and it just hasn't worked. Usually I can, but it's been so painful. Oh, I know, because if I have a hot bathtub adjoining, I just go from the tub to the pool and back to the tub, and then I can get used to it. But without a hot bath, I cannot get used to it. It's tremendously impossible. If I have to walk from a neighbor's backyard to where I am, by the time I get to where I am, I can't even get to where I am without having foot cramps along the way. So there's no way a hot bath would help. It would be excruciating pain, just the walk alone between the two locations. So I can't even get used to that. So I have no exercise program. I have absolutely no exercise program. And it sucks, because I really dig exercise, but I can't. I don't know how to pull it off. I'm clueless. So I have to monkey with my living situation. I have to turn off all heat. I turned off the floor heat on this second floor because I'm the only one occupying a room on the second floor here, and I went and got a heater from storage, and now I see I can't even use a heater. I have to have it chilled 60 degrees in here at all times, and put on clothes, and partly or mostly insulate most of my body from the earthing bedsheet, and just have a few tiny little contact points to benefit from this new breakthrough. But it's tremendous. It's unbelievable. I am so swept away that such a simple modification could do so much. I'm looking for the word. At contradiction to conventional logic, I won't say wisdom, logic concerning electrical circuits. But we're dealing with the human physiology, or an animal physiology, let's put it this way, God's creation, which we do not understand at all. And yet we presume to practice medicine. Practice. Now, we'll get it right one of these days. Upon the physiology, we do not know what we're doing. Unbelievable. Truly unbelievable. Maharishi is right. Never ever pass current through the body. But who would have known that I would have figured out with the help of Faith Lahore that I can set up a voltage difference across the body without passing any current to speak of through the body. It's a percentage thing. When you have a short, most of the current is going to go through the short and bypass the application, in this case bypass the physiology. But it's next to nothing, let's put it that way. It's far less than 200 picoamps, let's put it that way. Far, far less than 200 picoamps, which is already, you would think, would be enough, but it never has been, or else I would not have lost interest. And because I discovered that it was upsetting to use even 200 picoamps over time, it was stressful. It was more blissful and less stressful than 10 nanoamps on average, because that's what a 100 mega ohm resistor will give you, somewhere in the vicinity of 10 nanoamps. But still, 200 picoamps was not enough. And it gets harder and harder. It's a hyperbolic situation in which the more resistance you add, the more difficult it is to add more resistance to reduce the amperage. It's not that easy. I mean, if you do the math on paper, you'll see what I mean. So that's why I stopped at 6.6 gigaohms, basically 66 count resistors, each bearing the value of 100 megaohms of resistance. It became impractical to try to reduce the amperage any further. And I don't like routine labor, so I had to put a stop to how many resistors I was lacing together on my circuit, on my cardboard circuit, cardboard-backed motherboard, with masking tape, painter's masking tape put together. Oh well. And a few needle nose pliers and whatnot to bend the wires of the resistors around each other. Jewelers, well, close to being jewelers, needle nose pliers. Anyway, so I just basically have been. I couldn't sleep all night. I was so full of energy. I was trying to eat. I didn't know what to do to try to send myself back to sleep. Hike up and down the stairwell. Well, that didn't turn out very well. I got bored and tired of that. It was just, I was too awake and too energized, too healthy to go back to sleep. I wasn't tired. I don't have any physical activity to tire me. And I'm eating much better because I'm making my own quick bread now. I don't respond very well to leavened bread. The alcohol, there is a residue of alcohol in all leavened breads. Most people don't notice, but because of my situation, various factors, I notice. And I don't like it. And Charlie would encourage me to make bread the way I like to make it. And so I used water, and flour, and it was slightly raw on the inside, which I don't care for. So my batch the other day was actually slightly burnt, which is fine by me. But it had a lot of oil and a small amount of potassium bicarbonate. And I cooked it at a high temperature first, and then I brought down the temperature to make sure it got heated up first. And it's superb. It's slightly bitter, so I have to add jelly to it, but it is so good. And it has done wonders for my health. That and the circuit between the two of them, I couldn't stand heating my room anymore. It's ungodly to try to deal with that much good health. I didn't know how to deal with it. I still don't. So I had sex. I must have had sex 4 times so far in the last 12 hours. And I thought, like, enough is enough. So oh boy. So I'm hoping the cold will curb my problem of too much abundant energy. It'll all get leaked out through my lungs. So I thought I'd tell you what was happening with me. It's because it's a tremendous breakthrough. Just this circuit alone, that, and I'm eating better, but, I'm getting more calories into me in a way that my body loves. I love bread. My grandma would say, "Here, have a slice of bread." No, let me say this right. "Here, have a slice of bread, wash down the ice cream with." Something like that. A Yiddish accent, which basically is a combination of Polish, German, and Hebrew. So you can see the German influence in that kind of dialectical use of the English language. But she got me, trained somewhat, eat bread with ice cream. I can eat ice cream without bread, but I would prefer I had a slice of bread with it. Or something similar. So I learned from experience what kind of bread I like, and it's no yeast. Okay, a little quick bread maybe to prevent the interior from being raw. I can dig that, especially if I put a lot of oil in it to help the heat spread into the interior and flatten it so it's not round. So there is no interior to speak of. And I use a big, huge stainless steel cooking sheet because I do not like the coatings they put on cookware. So I went to the trouble to buy a cookie sheet online that's stainless steel. And it was fun. I put every ingredient in there I could think of. I put in powdered cheese, coconut flour, cayenne pepper, slippery elm, gluten flour, buckwheat flour, whole wheat flour was the base, water, potassium bicarbonate. Oh God, so many things. That's just a short list. I can't even. Kelp seaweed powder, ground flaxseed. Oh God, I put in so many things. Beeswax. You can imagine, right? I would not bake without beeswax. I would not cook without beeswax. Well, I do forget to use it when I cook. Yeah, I cooked some wheat berries, kamut, along with millet, and I didn't put anything in there. I just put water. I was very lazy. It turned out pretty good. A little chewy, but very yummy with soup. Floating. The cooked chunks floated around in a soup base. So the only thing missing from the bread was sugar. I should have put sugar in there because it's slightly bitter. So I have to eat it with jam and dates. But the circuit is doing a tremendous job. Because I had the circuit before in fact, I was encouraged to make the bread because I was feeling healthier. I mean, I got to feel pretty good about myself to make bread. I mean, it's like an affirmation of how good I feel to make bread the way I make it, which further improves my health because I'm eating something I enjoy and it's the basis of my diet. You know, oh, I'll eat cheese too, but, you know, and yogurt when I can, but it's the bread that really I fill up on, and I really enjoy filling up on it. And of course vegetables to add flavor and liquid, and all the other nice good values that vegetables have. But it's the bread that really makes me happy when I make it that way without any yeast. And oil. It's very dense, very high calories, which is great for me. And the potassium helps my intestines absorb nutrients and alkalize what would otherwise be very acid forming, all that wheat. So it's altogether was a good recipe. But it's the circuit that has made the magic happen. It's to sleep on this circuit, it's unbelievable. Truly tremendous. And of course I decided to do this video looking at my etheric weather engineering device that I have running 24/7, month after month, year after year, because it also contributes to my good health in its own subtle way. And if I get tired after several months of it spinning one way, I switch it to spin the other way, and I don't know if you can see the convex mirrors that I have attached to the underside, and I have another set of 5 mirrors on each of the 5 blades, one on each blade on the top side. So I have 10 convex mirrors, varying in diameter, anywhere from 2 inches to 4 inches. I've got a 3-inch in there too. But they have to be convex and be kept in motion. They can be any position. I have no idea what angle or position within the circular spin they should be optimally. I've never done a thorough examination of this topic. I just know that this variation on Trevor Constable's study of etheric rain engineering, weather engineering, does help. It contributes to your living space. If short of maybe making rain, it does something to the ether in your living space. It churns it. It keeps it active. Keeps it from becoming static. And it's static ether that's a contributing factor to poor health, according to Wilhelm Reich in his research. So you set ether in motion, and it makes for a happy living space. And that's what it does. It breaks up stagnant thinking, basically. Stagnant attitude. Frozen attitude. Helps break it up, so you don't suffer very long. If you fall upon some situation that's challenging, you don't stay there very long. You come out of it because you don't want to stay in anything for very long. You want to keep moving, keep progressing, changing, growing, moving along. And that's what it does for me. And it also, I think it serves as a kind of a vacuum cleaner of sorts in increasing the density of healthy energy in the center of the spin, as opposed to several yards, hundreds of yards away, outside the building. Because ether goes through walls. That's what Trevor Constable discovered. Through 2-inch iron hull of a ship, it made no difference where he put his device, below the waterline, at the bottom of the ship near the keel, or up on the top surface exposed to the sunshine. It made absolutely no difference. He would make rain anyway every time. But I'm not hoping to make rain because I'm not using cones, but I am using shapes that are close to cones. They're kind of close. A convex mirror is a bit of a cone. Very mild, very flattened, very squished. It's a squished cone. But it's a mild influence, and that's all I really need, is a mild influence. I mean, I suppose it could be stronger, but it would not be aerodynamically low air resistance, and to be able to not add drag to the motor in the ceiling fan and not overheat it and not cause problems, which I did in the beginning with paper cones. You would think paper cones would be lightweight, but it's not the weight, it's the air drag that's the problem. The motors on these things are not designed for having to deal with drag. So, I mean, no more drag than what the blades experience. So it has to be flush with the blade, and that's what a convex mirror is. It's perfect. It's got a glue backing, and this is on the medium setting. This is not the slow. It's a 3-speed set motor, so I have it on the medium setting, and I just alternate spin direction every several months, maybe 8 or 9 months or so. I get tired of it spinning one way and I spin it the other way. And I don't know if, anymore if it has to be a certain direction a certain half of the year. I just get tired of it going the same way all the time. So I alternate it with on a very wide half-phase cycle, very long duration half-phase cycle. And this is over the foot of my bed. So, gosh, I must have had some very good karma for it to come through Faithful Horror and reach me. For me to try again, to try to see if I can make the sleep circuit acceptable to me, and it is. I took a leap of faith. Oh my God! I have to admit what I hate to admit, that because I'm the last person to admit to having any faith in anything. I go by my experience, which means it makes me very cynical to try anything new. I'm terrible. I would have been more curious in the beginning, but gosh, when you sit on your laurels of limited experience and limited success, you don't want to go any further. You're afraid. I don't want to make any more boo-boos. I don't want to deal with that. You lose your flexibility and your bounce back, and you just want to be comfortable and maintain the status quo. Oh my God, I sound horrible. The very thing I don't want. Oh God. So that's where friendly people help out. Help us make a little breakthrough. Well, I'd say this is a major breakthrough. So now I get to use my circuit. Now, whether or not it helps Argyria, I don't know. And she doesn't want me to give myself Argyria just to find out. And okay, I'll go with that. Thank you very much anyway for the, thank you very much for the little nudge. Ah, you're such a nudge. No. A little nudge in a nice way. Just a little. She wanted to take a shortcut and not have to bathe in in hydrogen peroxide to get rid of Argyria, but I couldn't guarantee getting rid of Argyria any other way. So she's going in the direction of the bath, and here I am trying to see how long I can go without a bath at all. Just take showers and only occasionally use soap on my skin. Very infrequently. Most of the time I just rinse off and towel dry. But also avoid taking baths. And I can only take the bath one way. I have to use hydrogen peroxide or silver hydroperoxide because this is well water. I don't handle the bacteria count in the water very well. My immune system is just too sensitive. So I have to have a sterilizing bath of some kind. So I choose to use silver hydroperoxide, but that means I'm loading silver into my physiology to a large enough degree that I want to see if I can live without so much silver in my life. And this circuit is making it possible for me to do just that. I'm able to get by without this need to take a bath. This very strong need or desire. The impulse just isn't there, which makes me more relaxed. I'm less tense and nervous. Oh, I gotta take a bath. No, not anymore, I don't. So you could almost say that's an obsessive compulsion, but if you grow up sick your whole childhood, and the nightmares and the high fevers, the nightmares from the high fevers, oh, I hated it. The sinusitis I had all the time, and the nosebleeds that wouldn't stop, and oh God, it was horrible. I mean, it was a horrible childhood in terms of being healthy. And that does not even count the lack of energy, which I've never been able to figure out how to deal with. Well, this circuit deals with it admirably. That and my quick bread, it's unbelievable what this circuit has done to my energy level. It's just phenomenal. But I just don't know what to do with all this energy. And eating fish would not help. I know that. it wouldn't help. That's why I think eating this bread helps, because it's giving me some calories to eat to satisfy my hunger. But it's not a question of being spaced out. It's actually a good feeling. It's just I don't know what to do with all that energy. So I had sex with myself 4 times, whatever. So now I just have a cold 60-degree bedroom. It's probably warmer than that, actually. In the hallway it's 60 degrees, but with my door closed. Oh, I should open my door and let in some more cold air. That's okay. It's probably 65 or 70 in here. Yeah, that's probably what it is. That's good enough. I don't want it any colder. When I need it colder, I'll make it colder. I'll open up the door and let in the 60-degree hallway air. Wow. Thank you, Faith Ahura. Thank you, everyone, for all your feelings and thoughts and attention on the subjects that I bring up. Because whatever attention you bring to the subject, you bring to me. Because I can't be separated from this speech that is recorded there on YouTube videos. My consciousness and the consciousness of those videotapes or video recordings on the on YouTube servers are linked, indelibly linked. So you reach me just by dwelling on the listening for however long duration you listen to the videos. It sends me support, and it results in something. But then you get a commenter, a specific person making specific statements to put my attention specifically on a topic I hadn't been thinking about for a year, namely the sleep circuit. It changes things. It brings it back into the foreground and say, okay, what other improvement can I make that I haven't made already? What have I been overlooking? What have I been avoiding? For whatever excuse or reason, in this case, conventional logic, which does not work when you're dealing with the body. It just doesn't work. As Becker says, we are a semiconductor. We're not a conductor. We're not an electrolytic battery bath, all the fluid in our body. We are a semiconductor. And that makes all the difference in how to interpret what kind of bionic circuit do you apply to the body. How do you design it? And it turns out to be very, very simple. It's not rocket science. Anybody with a high school science background could handle it. But it works. It works nothing short of a miracle. So I try to have at least one contact point on this sheet at all times, obviously. So my feet right now are elevated on my bed covers, and my left hand is holding the cell phone camera. My head is on my pillow, and I don't have an earthing bed sheet on my pillow. Maybe I should put one on my pillow. I don't have a big one for this pillow. All I have are small earthing bed sheets. Ooh, I should ask my friend to give back the bed sheet the earthing sheet I gave him. I wonder if he uses it. I doubt it. I don't think he uses any of the stuff I give him. So I have at the moment only one hand and my earthing bed sheet. And I'm toasty warm. Well, all this talking, yeah, right, hot air coming out of my mouth. It is improving my circulation. Ooh, and the sun's coming out, peeking out from the clouds. Peeping out from the clouds. I guess I got nothing else to say. So thank you, everyone. And it gives me great joy to share this with you, because it's really cool. It sucks to be sick all the time, and it's really cool to be healthy, or at least approach what most people take for granted to any degree, because that really helps. It all helps.